here with Parris. Just for the camera and to be clear, you reached out and you wanted to have a re-meet. You're here on your own accord?
True.
Okay. Do you give me permission to post this to my website?
Yeah.
Okay. And later on in this interview, are you comfortable with going live?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, Parris did reach out. He wished to have a re-meet. He wanted to, share his side and his point of view and let everybody know, what he went through and also what he's been doing since then. So, floor is yours.
So, I am going to take you all the way back to the day before it happened, which is the day that I met the profile. I really don't have shame when it comes to messaging people because I don't really have a set agenda when it comes to what I'm looking for when I talk to people. It could be friends, it could be partners, it could be anything. So I was just on a spree and I said hello, and I got a response, which was the first time that it happened, and I kept the conversation going, knowing that the person was a minor. Any sort of inkling I had towards anything that was sexual sort of disappeared because I'm not attracted to minors in the slightest. It's not something that I want, and as a victim of sexual abuse, it's not something that I would want to perpetuate. But that's just going into an entirely different can of worms. So
I understand that. I do have a question.
Go ahead.
All right. So my question is only because you said once you knew the age, anything sexual kind of like went to the waist. I forgot how you just said it, but you're saying pretty much it wasn't sexual once you knew the age, right? All right, but right before I showed up, one of your last messages,
I'm chubby,
and I hope that doesn't bother you. Yeah. So why would you what was that about then? Because if you're just trying to be like a big brother figure or a friend, like your weight doesn't matter, right?
You would think that, but like in my experience as a heavier person, I just get looked at. People look down upon you as a bigger person, at least in my experience in the gay world, and so it's just something like, I don't know. It's something that I always...
Well, I was just curious.
No, and it makes perfect sense because why would someone say that? And I guess no matter how many times I say it, think it, or tell people, the fact still remains is that it looks like I was expecting something sexual. And I really wasn't. I mean, from the brief conversation that we did have over the 2-day period, it was just me sort of getting to know this kid, and the first thing that he had said to me was the kid said school pick on him, and that's something that resonated with me because kids picked on me. I was 14, 9th grade, coming out of school, and that's, I mean, right there, I was a poster child for that, and I thought I could relate. I guess Grindr wasn't the right platform for that conversation to be founded on, but, you can't pick and choose where these things happen. Things started to get a little funky for me when it was sort of like adamant that we meet. Like, if you don't meet me, I'm gonna go find someone else. I have other people I can meet. I can go do this with someone else. I used to have a friend who I did this with, and it was sort of like, all right, I'll just meet this kid, get it out of the way.
But
and so
you know what that was, though, right?
Yeah,
all those times that you said, those were all ways for you to leave.
Right. And me, I'm a really passive, submissive person, so it was just sort of like I was just like, let me just meet this kid and shut him up. And it wasn't anything, but what happened at the catch is sort of like left up to interpretation because people are going to want to believe what they believe, and it's been almost a year, and I've gotten shit from all angles. I'm going to swear, I hope that's okay.
That's fine.
So it happened, and from there it took this really ugly spin that I didn't want it to take, and I did feel like I was getting attacked, which is why I became sort of like the annoying, defensive bitch that you see in the video, which isn't so much who I am. But I mean, I can see why I got the response that I got. I brought it to an ugly place by commenting and by attacking other people on the page. And I mean, I shouldn't have done that. I was just, in the heat of the moment, I was just really upset. Everything was getting taken out of context, and I just felt as if I wasn't being heard. And like, no matter how many times I say it, I really didn't mean for anything sexual to happen. And people keep saying, why, you know, he's not sorry, why is he sorry?
So,
but I mean, I guess to a point I am sorry, because I would never want anyone to think that I would harm a child or perpetuate that stereotype that abusers become victims of abuse become
the abusers.
The abusers, and that's not something that I wanted to.
Yeah. So all right, let's just for a second, let's just put the sexual, you know, thought aside. If you had a family member, same situation, and a grown man came over though, like how would you feel? Even if there was no sex talk, if this is your family member and a grown man that your family member met on a dating website was coming to meet your, you know, family member, child, whatever it may be, you can't tell me that you would be okay with that. I mean, you can. I'm just saying though. I feel like anybody wouldn't say that.
Because, like, in my family, like my mom, I was raised by my mother. My father is not in the picture at all, so just my mom, and she raised us to be extremely just independent people and very strong people. And so, like, let's use my sister's kids as example. My niece, she's 11 now. I don't even know how old she is. She's 11, and if someone older was trying to talk to her, I would be like, whoa, you know, like, I'd want to meet this person. I'd want to understand what was going on, because you're right. It does look bad.
Yeah, like
if I found out that she was in the conversation as much as he was in the conversation, I don't know, I'd be wary of the conversation, but I know that she's not a dumb kid, you know. I know that she would want to protect herself, and it is a very sticky situation, because
it's not
while
though. It shouldn't.
Her, I don't trust other people.
But this is the thing. It shouldn't be sticky, because an adult should just dismiss the minor or the child immediately, or block them, or guide them off of the app that they're on, which happens. You know, I do have guys tell me, like, you know, what are you doing on this site? Blah, blah, blah. I'm blocking you. I'm reporting you. So I guess that's my thing. Like, I don't understand, and, you know, a lot of the people that follow the movement don't understand why that isn't just the initial reaction and thought. Can you put these in your pocket, bro? They're burning my neck.
In retrospect, that's what I should have done, because...
Well, then it eliminates all problems, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, if I was where I was at right now a year ago, when this whole thing happened, things would have gone differently, obviously. I know differently, and I know that the world's a very ugly place. But I guess for me, it was sort of like I still had this feeling of invincibility. Like, I can do, since my motives aren't wrong, then I can do whatever I want, because no one's going to get hurt. When people don't know that just from looking at me, you know, like, people don't know that my motives are innocent. In retrospect, I should have said, go away. I should have blocked them. I mean, if they want to chat with whoever they want to chat with, that's fine, but don't chat with me, and that's what I should have said.
Absolutely.
But I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't. I was at a point in my life where I really just, I wanted to meet new people, and yes, there are people my own age I could have talked to, but I had messaged so many people and nobody just seemed interested in talking, you know, and that's really all I wanted. I just wanted someone to talk to. But I don't know why I didn't in the first place, and I can see after watching a lot of the catch videos, and I've seen probably 85% of them. I know how many sick fucks there are out there, and I think I said that in the video that I posted this morning. There's a lot of gross people out there, people that you wouldn't expect, people who have these conversations, people who look completely normal and have these conversations that would just shock and appall you. Shock and appall you have these conversations, you know these conversations, you had them. And I mean, now I guess I would be more cautious with who I let my family members, who are minors, to talk to. But like, I going back to the family thing, I would hope that they would know what's comfortable and like what's okay for them to have a conversation about and what's not okay. You know, like if someone tried to have a conversation with my niece and it was sexual and she didn't want to have that conversation, I would feel like she would be the one to back out of it because she's a very strong-minded, strong-willed person, you know?
But that's not the type of individuals that predators look for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's not honestly, every single person I've caught so far is targeting, you know, the kid that doesn't have a lot of supervision over their devices or whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, it's not the parents' fault. Adults need to be held accountable for taking advantage of minors and children. You know, a lot of these guys, when I ask them, oh, like, what would you say to the parents? Every single one says, oh, be careful and watch what your kids are doing. And that's true. And you have to have an open line of communication. That's all true. But it all boils down to adults shouldn't be taking advantage, period.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's not. Know? I think that, and this is going to sound bad, but I feel like nowadays parents are being a little bit lax with, they don't fully understand what is out there or like who is out there, and they should monitor what their kids are doing
Absolutely.
A little bit more closely, because when I was 14, I don't even want to tell you the stuff I was doing. I got into so much trouble when I was 14 because my mom trusted us and kids. You know, maybe she should have pulled back the reins a little bit, because I had an older sister. We got into trouble. We found stuff.
That's what Pop Squad's for, though.
Yeah, it
raises that awareness,
and that's what I'm behind. I think that parents should be more aware of who is out there, what dangers are lurking behind the corners, and I mean, obviously it's wrong that adults take advantage of children. That's just you know, that's needless to say, that's wrong from the get-go.
Another thing I wanted to touch on that we had spoke about off camera real quick, two things real quick. You said you were still getting help.
Yeah.
All right.
I work very closely with, I have a whole team working with me. I have a therapist, a psychiatrist, and a case manager all working together. So my stay in the inpatient facility was just sort of like a last effort sort of ditch for help. It's not like, it wasn't like a one and done sort of like, oh, I went there and fixed. Now it's something that
because I saw that was a couple of the comments that had started, and I was like, I don't know, we're gonna go get the whole story.
It's a continuous effort. Not because I think I need help for any compulsions that I might have, but just for the way that I am handling this situation, because it did catch me by surprise, and it did sort of like I mean, I got death threats for months after the video was posted, and it's sort of like,
I get those sometimes.
That and it's I bet you do.
I hear you. But listen, right?
I mean, like,
would you say it's effective though?
Help or the video being posted?
The organization.
Yes and no. Yes, because spreading awareness is, I think, the first key. No, and this isn't a dig at you or anyone.
You're entitled to your opinion. I'm asking questions before
dealing with these individuals. Those of who, you know, are extremely sexually graphic and explicit in their chat logs, send pictures, bring items, condoms, lubes, enemas, dildos. One guy had a sandwich up his butt or something. I skimmed, I don't know.
Yeah, sausage.
People who show up doing those things, it must be infuriating to talk to. So the fact that you can keep calm to a point helps, but I mean, at a certain, and the way that you were cranking out videos, it was just sort of like, you must have gotten to a point where you got tired of it and you just wanted to punch these guys in the head. And I'm sure that every case is a little different, but I think it's too much for one person to handle.
Well, no, it's a lot bigger now. The operation is actually going to be global very, very soon. But that aside, that's why I had to take the hiatus. I was putting together everything that's happening now as far as the growth. And I had to make a point when I first started, because it went from the cops questioning me, like, who are you to do this, to how are you doing this? You know what I mean? As far as like, yo, I don't understand. Like, they didn't even know the problem was this big. So I had to put all those numbers up back to back to wake people up. And then once I did that, I was like, all right, if I catch 1 million people, it's not going to make a difference. I have to do something to take it to the next level. So that's why I took the hiatus. But I don't have anything else off the top of my head, I don't think. We could go live for about 5 minutes real cool, if that's cool with you. Real cool instead of real quick. See, I'm cooking out here in the sun. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up, unless there's something else that you want to get across or you want to say, final sending off statement or anything.
I mean, the last thing I want to say,
I do appreciate you doing this too. No matter how the following feels, how much shit they're going to talk about me talking to you, you know, civilly, like, I do appreciate this, because this is big. Like you said, out of everybody though, this is just 2 people. 3. I don't count one of the guys though, because he clearly was only doing it to make himself look good. Like, that was his only motive. But I really appreciate it, because it shows people the other side, and these are a lot of the things that people wonder, like, what happens after the video? Like, how's their life after the fact? You get what I'm saying? So I do appreciate it. But go ahead, you can wrap up your final statement, then we'll go into the live.
Now there's 2 things, just touching off what you just said, like what life is like after the video is posted. I still get harassed weekly by some people I don't know, commenting, messaging me on Facebook or Grindr, or telling me what a disgusting pig I am. I don't get death threats as much anymore, but I mean, for a while afterwards, for a good 6 months afterwards, it was unbearable. I mean, I almost, and I'm not saying this to get sympathy, because that's not who I am, and I'm not playing victim, but like, after this video, it was probably one of the darkest times in my life, just because I'd never felt so much hate towards me ever, you know. And easy transition into what I was going to say, was that a lot of people, based off the video that I posted, reaching out, they said that I don't have any remorse and that I'm not sorry, and I mean, I'm not sorry that I'm not saying sorry just because I got caught. I'm saying sorry because I lost the trust that I had worked so hard to ascertain over my last 29 years of life. And I don't like not being trustworthy. I don't like that people now look at me in a new light, and I'm sorry for any hurt that I've caused anyone. And I'm sorry for, I guess, not showing enough empathy. What I did was a huge mistake, and like I said, in retrospect, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't talk to a 14-year-old kid, because A, I hate kids. I mean, first off, I can't stand them. And B, it's not my place to help raise someone else's kid and talk to them about their problems at school on a social media app that's not designed for them. I shouldn't have done what I did. I shouldn't have done it, and I mean, if that's not sorry, I don't know what is. I'm
fair enough.
I know what people are going to say after this goes live, or after this gets posted, and I don't really want to have to deal with it, but I just...
You know what, though? You did everything you can to this point, and as long as you keep your best foot forward, you know, keep, stay with your team that you got put together that's helping you, it'll stay behind you eventually. I think this is a big step. I think this is going to help. Obviously, there's going to be some backlash, but I think it's better than just going away and never saying anything like the other 93. You know what I mean? I really do. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have posted your video this morning or even entertained the thought. So I do appreciate that. If you have anything else you want to put on this one, that's fine. Other than that, we'll go over to the live real quick so we can get out of here because I'm cooking. I know you're cooking too.
I'm okay. But yeah, we can go live.
All right, cool. All right, so let me wrap this up.